Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author's Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592. For 2 days, the 5 o'clock hour is hot on Fit FM 96.7, www.fitfmja.com. Your life, your music with Lady D, Denise Gomez, Inside the Zone. Catch me on Monday at 5 p.m. for the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. And on Friday, yes, at 5 p.m. for Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. From abroad to yard, Trelawney. Celebrate Mother's Day in the heartwarming embrace of Jamaican and Caribbean traditions, where women are revered for their strength, wisdom, and love. In these vibrant cultures, children hold their parents in high esteem, recognizing the sacrifices and strict upbringing that shaped their lives. Mother's Day isn't just a day of celebration, but also a time for reflection and empathy. It's a day when the community comes together to support those who have lost children, embracing them with love and shared experiences. Join the Saturday Morning Runnings crew as we honor mothers and their remarkable journeys through the years, from the joyful moments to the challenges they overcome. Every mother's story is cherished and celebrated. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Your love knows no bounds, and today we celebrate you. A Saturday Morning Runnings. Come, make we talk.
Peeling. School bell ring.
Knife and fork a fight for dumpling.
All right. So morning, everyone. We are apologizing
Good morning
for our late start, but it's our celebratory weekend for all our mothers. So we'd like to welcome you to Saturday Morning Runnings. How no do? I hope everybody good. It has been a wonderful time for many, not so wonderful for some, but in everything we are going to give thanks. Every millisecond, something that happens somewhere. The moving parts are just like in cyberspace, but or in space. So we want to say welcome to Uno. It is our Mother's Day show, and I'd like to welcome.
Are we seeing any of our regulars?
Well, people are on. They just haven't logged into the chat.
Oh, I haven't been able to log in like I usually do. I don't know why.
I'm not sure what happened here. Anyway,
technology.
Anyway, morning. So how do you, ladies?
Lux, it's
doing all right.
Quite a
I'm
week.
blessed
Oh,
and
here
highly
comes the
favored.
K-Star.
How is it going?
It's been quite a week for me. Even though I was off from school, it has been a very hectic week. My mother went back to Jamaica, so that was quite something to get her off and running. to
Oh,
take her to the
Right.
airport, running up and down, putting our stuff together, putting our shipment together. I mean, them something
Oh
that take a
Lord.
lot of work. And then,
Yeah.
yesterday I took
It's
the girls.
It's Mother's Month. It's a good time to do all of that.
And she won't be here for Mother's Day. So that was, I think, my Mother's Day run for
Yeah.
her. So,
Right.
okay.
so
Absolutely.
So Max, where you been? Where you been there?
You know
yeah.
what I'm hearing? I'm just very busy, darling, trying to get rich.
I
Whoops.
Let's
agree
put
with
it that
you.
way.
All right. When it come, you
I
share it.
shouldn't say trying,
I
getting
make we know
rich.
how.
Getting rich.
I was about to say
Sure.
Yes.
you are
I'm,
gathering
I'm, I'm,
moms.
I'm doing great work that the Lord is pleased with me with, and making other people's life very happy and
Amen.
making myself happy. So I'm not complaining. God is good every time, all the time, every minute, every hour.
Right. Happy to hear that. Charles, where you are saying now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good, man. Me all right. I'm recovering from a whole night with the grands. I took them to paint night, so we were painting, and we stay up late, and then I had to get everybody up and running this morning to go to them various activities. So I am actually resting right now. I've been up for a while.
Yes. You've been up for
I
a
don't know
while.
about you guys, but I think there's a bug going around. There's something going around, a kind of flu it's
So I hear,
it,
but in
it
a
comes
stop
on
over yet.
quickly. Comes on quickly, gets you down. One of the kids came home with it. My mother got it, and then it was trying to hit at my sister and myself. So, but I didn't get the fever or a runny nose or anything. But it left me with this cough, and that's something I'm
Oh,
kind of
Yeah,
fighting
you
right
saw
here
it in
now.
nasal.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
realize some
That too
people
will
have come
pass.
down with this thing, but we are just saying, cover me, cover me, cover me.
Ow.
That's
Mm-hmm.
it.
And do your fruits,
So
do your fruits, do your vitamin C.
Oh
every
yes,
Yeah.
day.
I have the whole works. My
Yeah.
concoction that I make it have ginger, turmeric, garlic, onion, all of them niceness in there.
All the
Yeah.
right things. Very
You
good.
have to give it a day or two to work. Once you take it, you got to chill out for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, so
You'll be all right, man.
that's what I'm working on.
Okay. So
Mm.
Andrea just came in. So welcome, Kay. Good to have you, my Kay. Morning.
How
Drea.
did you?
Morning,
How did
Drea.
you?
How is Barbados? So we there. So Mother's Day. So Max, we did
And
miss you first of all.
eh,
Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks for
Max.
missing me.
Yep.
of
I
course.
missed you too. Last week I really wanted to come on, but it just didn't happen. We were on the road now, and I tried to do some stuff for me to log on after, but everything took forever beyond
Oh,
what we expected. So that's why I didn't get a chance to log on, even though I promised to. But this
yes.
It's been
morning I said no matter
nice.
what, I'm gonna force it on.
It's nice.
I, I hear you.
Yeah, Mrs. Shirley, I look on Pato.
Listen.
No, sir.
No, son.
Ay, ay, ay.
No,
I
I
saw
tell you,
that.
Ah,
I
girl.
saw that, son.
yes, sir.
Mm.
Last week
ah.
was
That was outstanding.
last
That
week was
was that
last
like
week
I think
was
that was the
good.
highlight of the morning.
Oh God.
Yes, it was outstanding. It was really
Let me tell you,
outstanding.
man,
And it
that
was,
was something else.
That was the highlight. Apart from the duppy went under bed, because me swear to God it was a duppy that touched me on my foot.
Go,
But
you mean?
that was the highlight.
And then so there is Sharon the Patu, Jackie under the bed, and me behind Mass Elmo tombstone.
Yes, yes, yes,
well,
yes.
I didn't watch. I just binge watched it. Binge watched the whole thing. I never watched the whole show because we were
Oh,
so busy.
Yeah.
But the part
definitely.
the part didn't really stand out for me.
Yes, yes. So we'd like to welcome those
Laughter
of
is
you who are
medicine.
joining us this morning. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share with at least 5 people. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't be watching out on the veranda. We want you inside the hall.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, come on into the
Take a
hall.
chair.
Yes, so please,
Right.
those of you who are on, just share the link with at least 5 people and let them know the crew is back. So it's Mother's Day weekend. Tomorrow will be celebrated as Mother's Day, and we know mothers, the journey of a mother, whether you had a child preteen or you, because you have that, or you had a child unexpectedly, or you had a planned you and your partner planned for you to have a baby and children came and life just got busy. Did you know that there are a lot of mothers who when they had their children they did nothing else? They are not necessarily as a stay-home mom, but they dedicated their lives to their children and did nothing
Yeah.
else. Then when the children they became empty nesters now and they really don't have no skill sets. They're not really doing anything much. There are those who have lost children. There are those whose children are incarcerated. When you think of motherhood, it's not just to say, oh, my mother, and you're celebrating her.
Mm-hmm.
Think of other people whose experiences are vastly
Huh?
different from that of your own. And so we want to just talk about mothers today. We, as Jamaican parents, we know that, if mother say, nobody make me drop whatever before back or spit pan it wrong,
And make me
or
spit dry.
I make it
mhm,
dry up before me come back.
same so, or those
Mm-hmm.
mothers who, they had watchmen and women. So when you think, say, you have time before mama come home, there's somebody
Mm-hmm.
to say, Denny's just gone up. Uh,
No, sir.
while you think, say, she not go know. So,
Oh
Mm-hmm.
God.
And
Yes.
Maxine play the radio whole day.
right?
Yes.
And as she can be turned off.
Right?
Me
Exactly.
just, me just have to draw the broom weed for the one Jacqueline. Cause she over there so play before she go on home with the flower. She bad.
May I tell you? But I was reading an article and it was saying something about they broke down mothers in three categories. So
Mhm,
one of them
Okay.
is the
mhm,
Uh-huh.
authoritarian mother. She
Mm-hmm.
raises her children according to fixed rules that are not up
Yes.
for discussion.
there you
Mm-hmm.
go.
And
Take
then
it.
you have the
Mm-hmm.
ambitious mother and you have the empathetic mother.
Mhm,
So all mothers supposedly fall under those three headings somewhere.
Yes.
mhm.
And I
Especially
know we
Jamaican
can.
one.
What's that, Max?
I was saying the first one is mostly for the Jamaican mothers, especially in our time. They
Not
have a
true.
fixed, yes, they have a fixed calendar, a fixed way of doing things, and it has to be that way or not, you know?
And,
Right.
and there's
It's
no
not up
highway.
for discussion.
And there's no
No
highway.
discussion.
Mhm.
No.
There's no highway. So for the mothers, or if even if you're not a mom, but you've had some kind of influential role in the lives of other people's children, you can also share your experiences. But I know that for today there is a mother somewhere who is just excited that her children are going to carry her out or send her flowers, and some have to go visit
Right.
a picnic in a some unfortunate space where they have found themselves. So you have to really just say, boy, life rough. Your children,
Yeah.
you try to raise them the best way you can. And we talk about how we are socialized. There are some children who are being raised in some very harsh and crude environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they become adaptable. They take on the spirit of their community and they really not
Mhm.
know nothing better. And so we
Right.
badger and we talk about how today is picnic, but it's really how they're being raised.
Yeah, they live
Absolutely.
what they learn.
Yes.
You
Every
There
time.
is a family that I follow on YouTube. They live in Jamaica in St. Mary. And it's a husband and wife, a mixed couple, and they left the United States and retired. They're pretty young. They're younger than me, but they're retired in Jamaica, and they now live in St. Mary. And what they've done is they adopted 3 boys, and they show you the day-to-day, intricacies of raising these 3 young boys in Jamaica. And the man, actually, the husband, is the one who actually did the adoption. The lady is from St. Mary. She is a Jamaican. He is from the United States, and but they got married 15 years now, and now they've moved from Hawaii. They were living in Hawaii, and now they've settled in Jamaica. And I watch it just merely for that reason that you just mentioned, Lady D, how people and Sharon, how people raise kids, or they've become products of their environment. Just the expressions of these boys and how they express themselves, how they deliver themselves to the people who are caring for them now. It just tells me what they were coming from. But I commend the man. I even wrote on his page and I said, I commend you for taking up such a job of raising these young boys. And he teaches them how to produce, how to farm in their backyard, how to eat what they grow. He teaches them the value of money, and he shows you how he's letting them learn to save and how much money they've saved, and when they can use that money, what they can use that money for, and stuff like that. And I found that to be so profound. And
that's life lessons right there.
for them, kudos for taking on 3 kids that he's from a different culture, and doing such a wonderful job raising these 3 boys.
Right.
And the woman, she has kids of her own. They've grown and they're on their own, but now they're parents of 3 young boys. I think the eldest one is 10. I think he's 10 or 12.
Really? I was gonna ask the age. Wow.
Yes, the eldest one, I think, is 10. And day before yesterday, I watched something that they posted that the father, their actual father, died. So I don't know whatever happened in that family. I never went back and saw the story, but their father died, and he let them dress up in the same colors, like yellow, and went to the father's funeral. And I thought that was, and he accompanied them. I thought that was so.
It's 3 brothers.
3 brothers, yes.
Okay.
3 brothers.
Very good.
Wow. And that is such an amazing thing, because there are people who will tell you, Minari is nobody pick me.
Pitney.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not open to that. And it is best they don't, because you're not willing to share a part of yourself, and
Right.
to love other people's children. Do not take them, because you're not well. And children have found themselves into group homes and all kinds of situations, all because of a breakdown. Whether we have to be real. There are people who are on drugs. They've had mothers who have had children. They themselves couldn't even function
Right.
because of their exposure to all these kinds of situations. Then they become pregnant. Then they have the child. One of them maybe have just walked out of the hospital, leave the baby. And sometimes you would say, how can women do that? But they do, because in that moment, the stark reality is, I can't take care of this picnic. I'm going to carry this child into my environment. But their coping skills is not developed. So they don't know how to go and have the conversation before they leave the hospital to say, how can you help me? I would rather give this child up for an adoption. So, and people are growing up now with that resentment, those who have had that experience where their mother left them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when you leave your child like that, they don't know the full story.
No. And it's hard to explain.
And they grow up resenting either women, or even if for men, right? You
Mm-hmm.
end up in relationships because that's normal, but you don't know how to treat her. Those things, you end up having children, you don't know to treat your children either. So while we can laugh about the comical side of how we were raised, you know,
Yeah,
as Caribbean children, and
right.
but people have harsh realities. So, we
Mm-hmm.
are saying every mother's story, you have to cherish,
Mm-hmm.
easy if you cherish it, right?
I
Yeah.
learned I
Mhm.
learned
It,
of a situation yesterday, just yesterday, of a young lady that when her after her children were born, she did not want to have anything to do with them. She couldn't touch them.
Mm-hmm.
She
yeah,
just couldn't
that
touch
sounds like
them.
postpartum depression and something.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
That
extends until they grow up. She it was
yeah,
left to the mother, her own mother, to raise the children
yeah,
because she did not want to have anything to do with the children. So that's
yeah,
another situation too.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see that the whole thing with mothering, and thank God for good mothers. It is said that we all have at least 5 to 7 mothers. And it might sound fun, like it, I say, where would I get 5 to 7 mothers? But you have your own mother, then
Hmm.
you have your mother's
Mm-hmm.
mother, then you
Hmm.
have your father's mother, and the father's mother's mother. Then you
Mm-hmm.
have and then of course there are godmothers. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're lucky enough, you may have a good mother-in-law. So you really have several different mothers in your life, although only one person gave birth to you. But
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
motherhood is on the job training. You don't get, for those of us who decided to have children, and we pursued some knowledge in that department, as far as say, let me read some books on the subject matter. And even if you read books, that is just practical. When the theory part hits, it's a whole different story, because children
Yeah.
come and they're all different, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
make room for the different ones. It's not one, they're not cut from the same cloth to say they're going to behave the same way. One is night, one is day, and so on and so forth. So it's on the job training. It's kind of like the presidency. You have certain knowledge and background and intellect, but until you're in the job, you
Job,
don't know
that's
how you're going
right.
to perform. And you have to
Mm-hmm.
keep
Exactly.
you have
Exactly.
yeah, and you have to keep learning. You know what I mean? So it does take a village, because you're gonna need help. There is burnout, there is all kinds of things, so it's a very intricate role that the good Lord has so endowed women with, because you have some women who, after tragedy and of various descriptions, they are
Mm-hmm.
able to pick themselves up and say, well, look here, this is what it is. I got some lemons, I'm gonna make lemonade. And you have
Mm-hmm.
some who just can't function, and
Mm.
it runs either direction. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's really a
Right.
challenge. It's a
and
challenge,
remember
because
this journey. This journey
Mhm.
doesn't start when the baby is born. Remember, the woman carried that baby for 9 months, and God, He knows, what she went through during that time, all that sickness, morning sicknesses, and the other illnesses
Emotional
that could
ups and downs.
ups and
Mm-hmm.
downs,
Yeah,
right? That comes along
Yeah.
with that
yeah,
pregnancy.
mental and physical. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
Yes.
Mental and
absolutely.
physical. And sometimes, like for us black women, it is often thought that we are made of sterner stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we ought not
Yes.
to
We
we
are.
ought not
We
to
are.
yeah, we ought not to keel over and faint at certain things that get other people bent out of shape and get other people into therapy and so on. Not knocking therapy, because it's a necessary thing, but
Mm-hmm.
certain things that get people out of winding, so to speak.
Yes.
Um, we are expected to overcome
Mm-hmm.
and keep stepping. If you
Mm-hmm.
Because
Because it is even with
Keep
with
moving.
labor and delivery, sometimes drugs that are given to our Caucasian sisters of other races, they're not given to black women, because it is somehow thought
That's
that
true.
we can bear pain,
Mm-hmm.
or we not feel it the same way how others feel it. So it's really, really a challenge. It's a
Which is so
challenge.
which is so
And if I'm if
which is so wrong.
Sorry.
1 minute, Max, just a moment. It is so
Okay.
wrong because we don't realize that's how we are socialized, right? We are cultured that way. If we say, Lord, the head hurt me today, somebody say, go take
Mm-hmm.
one pill, man, or go drink some water. And it's like you just have to
Mm-hmm.
you need to keep moving. You don't have time now to baby up a headache. So
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
we are taught to suppress what we feel.
Yes.
Right.
While other people,
Absolutely.
the moment they feel something, because we are not taught to be as sensitive. When we see other people unraveling, we are like, so that make no fall apart. So, but
Yeah.
but,
Mm.
but
Like that,
truthfully,
that are not nothing.
that are
Yes.
not
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
truthfully,
Yes.
what is going on the inside of us, it's also affecting other parts of us,
Right.
But where is
right?
it coming
Right.
from? You
Yeah.
know?
Right? It
Yeah.
affects us.
Yeah.
It affects you. Somebody suddenly say, Lord Denise, how your maga so?
Right.
Or them
It's
say,
true.
are you here a drop out?
Yeah. Or
Right?
you have bag,
Yes.
or you have
Or
bags under your eyes.
under your eyes. But
Mm-hmm.
you're not saying, hey, this a pregnancy, I mean I know. And you start to explain what it is about the pregnancy that is
Right.
just disturbing you so much.
Mm-hmm.
You resent
Right.
the morning sickness. You resent your stomach getting
Can't
more,
eat.
all kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there is
Okay.
now the anxiety that kick in. Can I,
Mm-hmm.
man, even before the poor labor pain start to hit or anything, you start to wonder, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? So we have to really be sensitive to what, because we want to sound intellectual, when we say, please define what motherhood looks like for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But
It's a
you
different
really
experience
you
for
don't
each
even
and
have
every one.
no, because the experience
Exactly,
is
Max.
unique to everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Go
Yes.
ahead,
different.
Max.
Max was
But
gonna say something.
there's a point
Yeah,
that
go
I
ahead.
wanted to touch on when Charlotte just said a while ago about us black women with they tend for us. People think that we are tough, and yes, we are tough, and they expect us to endure stuff that the other nations would not, or the Caucasians would not.
Cultures.
But the point I want to make too is that sometimes they make it easy for the Caucasians because they can afford. Affordability is a big word right here, because there might be stuff that you can take or do to make a birth easier. As a white person, you have access to these things, whether it be medication, equipment, whatever it is, to make a birth easier. For the black person who's coming from a poor background now, who's not financially well off, they can afford it. So therefore, we have to become tough mentally and say, okay, I'm gonna survive this birthing or whatever without, because I can't afford to get this, and this to make it easier. So as I said before, that finance is another thing too. That up toughens toughen up us mentally, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
But,
Yes.
but but we're talking about the culture of this. This is
Yes.
coming from way back on the plantation.
Oh
Yes.
Because
yes.
remember, women and that's where that culture comes from. Just suck it up and move on. Because
Yeah.
Yes.
remember, women on the
Yeah. Yeah.
plantation, when they were pregnant, they had to keep moving,
Working.
keep working in the on the
Yes.
on the plantation,
Of
and
course.
they could sit down and say, "Oh, I have morning sickness," or "Me not feel good
Yeah.
this morning," or whatever.
Yeah.
Forget about prenatal treatment. They didn't have anything of such,
Then
Mhm.
they
right?
had
No.
no prenatal, no
Then
postnatal.
no,
As a
a
matter of fact,
grandmother, the
as a
grandmother
matter of
was
fact,
was a midwife,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
in them days, the woman oh God, the woman literally would squat, have the baby, and
Yes.
a mind stop them gone with the baby because the baby now belong to Bucky Massa.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
So
So
it
that's
Yes.
where that
so it
culture of being tough
yeah
in the mind, or they don't
yeah
feel it, and then as soon as the baby born, the next day they had to sling it on their backs and go back into the farm, into the
Mhm.
yeah
field to work. So
Mhm.
yeah
culture, it just becomes a part of us, and
So
yeah
even
Mhm.
mothers
on
should
each
be
other,
held, right. Mothers should be held in high esteem,
right?
no matter what, across
Yes.
the board, because it is a
Absolutely.
lot to do is a whole lot of work.
You see, as you said that that's a perfect segue because what's happening is that you hear it all that we're dialing it back now to where we are in this modern era. You will hear men say, you know, women get everything. Mother's Day is the biggest thing. The most flowers. I
Yeah.
was looking at some facts and it says that um
More flowers are sold.
approximately
No, I said more flowers are sold during Mother's Day.
yeah, Mother's
Mm-hmm.
Day. Besides, yeah. Mother's Day is the day that's third in line for most flowers. And it says there are more calls made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year. Approximately 122 million calls are made on Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes men make a big deal out of the fact that women seemingly get more things than men. Men will say, Lord, me have 500 ties. They pick them just buy me a tie every year. Daddy say one tie. Or maybe if you like watches. My father used to like watches. Here's another watch. While the mothers get primped and pampered and
Mm-hmm.
powdered and
And
petted.
powder.
And rightfully so.
So
Not true,
we,
Max.
we sorry, see, I saw it
And
go down.
rightfully so.
We sorry, see, I saw it go down. But
Yeah.
you know, we and we can't really say we apologize. I
No.
believe,
We can't be blamed
the
either.
family structure is set up in a way that the man is um acknowledged and
Mm-hmm.
appreciated as
Uh-huh.
But the women get all the
the man
attention.
of the home, the man over the woman, God is your, so there is the God, the man, the wife, the children, so on and
Right.
so forth. And so I think it is just perceived that yes, he's supposed to provide and all of that, but mom is supposed to be nourished and lauded over because she
Cherished.
have the children. She's the one
This queen.
who her children grew up seeing, being more
Uh-huh.
hands-on,
But you know,
ensuring that you eat, you go, you
uh-huh.
talk
But you know, me always say,
Mhm.
mothers are the milk makers.
That's true.
Yeah, see that?
We are the milk makers.
Yes,
And they
yes.
say the very smell of the mother relaxes the babe. The very smell. And the
Mm-hmm.
mother's voice promotes
Yes.
brain growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
promotes brain growth in the children. So, because you even see, somebody would say this mother can't sing, you might really can't sing. You can't carry a tune in a paper bag. But any little lullaby you decide to hum, the baby is the best audience for you.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
And,
yes.
and those
Yes.
bonding moments cannot be they can't be traded for anything. And no matter how old a child gets,
Mm-hmm.
mommy, mama, mommy, go
Mm-hmm.
have that soft spot in the heart right here.
That's right.
All the
Yeah.
time. Every time.
We'd like to welcome
Every time.
everyone to every mother's story is cherished and celebrated. And if you notice, we are touching a little of every mother's experience this morning,
Yeah.
best way we can. We'd like to say welcome to those of you who are on, and don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel you are watching inside the zone. Okay? Share the link with at least 5 people. Make sure that pass five now. Make me say 10. Share
Right.
the link with, we graduate. Share the link with at least 10 people and say, hey, we want the numbers to go up. We're
I'm
busy
sending it to
over
my
Mm-hmm.
whole
here.
contacts.
Things are happening over here, man. Come listen to intelligent conversation because we know those. So we just want to know if you come and sit down and just post your comments in the chat because
Right. It's interactive. That's what I
there you
like.
go.
It's
Mhm.
not
Mm-hmm.
just us. You can throw some knowledge our way, give a
Yeah,
little joke, same
Absolutely.
way. You know
mhm.
what I mean? Yeah.
So
The
um,
Mm.
more the merrier.
let's
What's the biggest
let's
whoop your
do
mother
the
ever give you?
right. So let's do the quick shout outs because we didn't get a chance to do that. We just plunged headlong into the discussion because we did late, but we did say sorry. So
Hmm.
welcome, Kay. Good to see you, Kay. Drea, I asked her how Barbados. She said hot with two T's.
Wow.
Good morning, Minna. So nice to have Minna. I'm trying to schedule an interview with Minna. Good morning, Vero. Nice to see Tony. I thought of you the other day. I say I haven't seen Tony. Tony, how you do? Morning,
Welcome back,
Eval.
Tony.
Welcome, Eval. You're the only gentleman on here this morning.
Mr. Green, good to see you.
So,
Yes.
Drea, one
Welcome to
customer.
SMR.
Sure. Aye. SMR acronym Arolia Max.
Yes. Yes,
All
man.
right. Drea says one customer says her daughters mean they would buy one card and nothing sign in it. Oh Lord.
Oh, wow.
Mm-mm. Herman, send me there. We don't know this morning.
Hey,
We see
Herman.
you.
Good morning,
We
Jen.
see
She
you.
said, good morning, Lady D, Denise Gomez, and everyone. Blessed Saturday morning, Jen. And so Herman said pregnancy is not a one size fits all. It's much more than that.
Yes, it
Absolutely
is.
not.
It's true. Good
Very
morning,
good.
Carbet. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to have you. Eval says, shout out to the milk makers. Yeah, that part of all the parts
Okay.
of the
I like that.
conversation. You see, all the conversation.
Yes.
I love that. The milk makers.
Hey.
For
Yeah,
real.
we're the milk makers.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
natural.
Yeah.
And my cousin Callie. Oh, it's my Callie's birthday. My cousin Callie. It's her birthday today. She's in England. Happy birthday to you,
Happy
Callie.
birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
And thank you for joining us. It's 4 minutes to 11
Enjoy.
o'clock. Every mother's story is cherished and celebrated. Mothers, those of you who are on, please share something about your picnic, something that maybe we can laugh about, because I know that our West Indian mothers don't play.
Tell
So,
me about it.
Exactly.
what stories you have to share, ladies, about your mother? Something that you, because me share for me them, me get punishment for stuff.
I would like to share a poem.
Go ahead, Maxie. Let me put you up on your solo screen here.
Okay. Thank you. And
You're
welcome
welcome.
everyone again. So you all know I'm a poet, and this is my book, Deep Thoughts. And I'd like to share the poem. It's entitled The Meaning of Mother. I have written several poems about mother, but this one I really want to share. And it goes like this. A mother is someone special with an understanding heart. When others lose their faith in you, that's just when hers will start. Come with me and I will show you what a mother really means, what they will do, where they will go to give the world to you. M represents the maximum, meticulous, marvelous, magnificent individuals they really are. O speaks of the oneness, obedient, and open species the Creator has made them into. T shows the tender, trustworthy, and sometimes technical people they are. With love so true, they always want to do and do and do. H tells of their honorable and hypersensitivity that they cease to display, be it fun, work, or play. E shouts the everlasting expectations and educated experience they all want to impart to their children from birth. R shows the respectful, responsible, and responsive life they must lead in order to be the Eve of the earth. Mothers are mothers no matter what their age, color, class, or creed, height, plight, or educational status. They are the reason you and I are, are here. Respect that fact, no matter what. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Max.
That's lovely, Marks.
You're
Mm-hmm.
welcome.
And also true and factual.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
Yeah.
who have a story to share now about their mother?
Where did Jackie go?
We're not sure. So, Sharon, it's a fun moment of your mom.
A fond moment of my mom. Well, I was always in awe of my mother because she was very pretty.
Hey.
She was, I
So
mean,
we
and
so we see.
I actually keep her as my screensaver on my phone, but I did not realize, I didn't know my mother was my mother until I was 5. So it's people might say why, how come, but my grandmother took me at a year old from my mother, and so my formative years were with my grandparents. And then when I realized my mother was my mother, I said, "Oh my God!" I mean, in my little childish naivete, put it that way, I was looking at her from afar, like that lady is really good looking, and because she was very stylish. With me growing up in country, my friends' mothers were hardworking women in the community. Most of them weren't doing a corporate job. They were homemakers. They were little subsistent farmers, or they are vendors and things of that nature. So my mother was in Kingston. She was working in offices, and she would come and she would have her hair nicely coiffed, with a little French roll or bun and the little curls, and she was beautiful, man. And wear mini skirts and mini dresses. She always had, mani pedis and all that. Do you want me to laugh after me, so?
You know that me gonna ask why she
Me
laughing
feel
so?
away. Me feel away. I'm sure you will tell me.
I know that. I am so sorry. I saw the comment from Herman. Mother's
Oh.
well good for can cure pink eye.
But you remember the story I gave when Mas Charlie come ask me to squeeze milk in my eye. I remember that
Yes,
story.
yes.
Anybody want to hear that? You have to go back on one of our previous shows about home remedies. But so I loved her from afar. I loved her from afar, and I was in awe of her because she was like a total package. And I don't have any, like, I mean, she was more of like a sister, and not a sister. She was more like a good friend, like a best friend to me, because she never raised me. So I don't have that mother
Connection, yeah.
approach, like like Jack would have for Aunt G to say mama and stuff. I never called her mama or mommy. I call her auntie. But but even when I found out she was my mother, I couldn't shake that. I just kept calling her auntie. But the bond, however, was still there. And I'm glad for the years I had her for. She's going to be gone 2 years in the summer. And as a matter of fact, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to her grave to lay some flowers down with my daughter and my sister. So my mother was more of a friend, so I don't have a parental approach to the loving she gave, but she was phenomenal in her own right.
Thank you for sharing.
That
Jack,
was
I mean, Shirley, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for budding in, Lady D, but I'm here nodding and smiling and shaking my head because I can ditto what you just said, because I have the same experience where I didn't grow up with my mother, and I refer to her as aunt. My mother's name is Eunice, and I used to call her Aunt Eunice because I didn't know she was my mother. And I learned it, later on in life, that this is your mother. Because my grandmother took me when I was really a small child. And because my mother was not married to my father, that's the reason why my grandmother took me and raised me. So when she did come around and I saw her, I thought she was an aunt. So I used to call her Aunt Eunice. And even when I learned that she was my mother, I couldn't bring myself to say mommy or mother or mom. It was
Same
years
thing.
later before I started calling her mom. Years later. So, I have that bonding with my grandmother, not with my mother. However, as I got older and got more educated and understood the realms of motherhood and know that this is my mother, that was when I started bonding. But then I guess a lot of things I lost out on because I didn't grow up with her. So, Charlotte, I really share your story. I have the same scenario
Yeah.
or same
Yeah.
situation.
That's kind of weird because it's the similar thing for me.
Wow.
I grew up with grandma, and my mother at the time, even though I'm the third child and first girl, my mother was out working. So she, was trying to make life. So I grew up with grandma. So it was when I was around about 5 or 6. That's when grandma, I used to say to call my grandmother, like she would call me and I would say yes. And she said, you don't say yes. You must say yes, mommy, yes, granny, or something. And
Oh yeah.
I chose to say yes, mommy. So I started calling my grandmother mommy. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
call my mother mommy. And where she was working at the time, a young boy there used to call her Aunt G. That's my mother now. Used to call her Aunt G. And then Tommy, who is my mother's first child, my eldest brother, he started calling my mother Aunt G because the young boy there was calling her Aunt G. And from there, all of us started calling her Aunt G. But like I said, I was 5 or 6, and my mother usually come and visit. And one day when grandma told me that this is my mother, I was a little bit confused because I was looking at her because I call her mommy, and I'm looking at my mother, who I call Aunt G. I know I have to say mommy. So we just, started to say Aunt G because everybody else was saying Aunt G. But like you said, trying to that bond between my mother and myself, or my mother and all of us, it's something different. People talk about it all the time. We have a sister bond, sister mother daughter bond. It's something
Yeah.
a medley, and it's just love.
It's a tapestry.
I
It's a
guess so.
tapestry, a beautiful tapestry.
So for me,
Listen, we can tell her anything. We can talk about anything. We
yeah.
talk
Yeah.
That's a
about
good thing.
sex. We can talk about sex, boys, girls,
Oh,
anything.
please.
These things that are
Let me tell you
uncomfortable
something.
to
Although
other
I'm the one
people.
who wasn't raised with my mother, I'm the one who my sisters would say anything they want to say. I would have to be the mouthpiece. They would say, tell her so and so.
Okay.
Or when I would tell them something that I had related to her, they would say, but how you tell her? And I'm like, oh, you mean you just
Yeah.
tell her? And I was like, me can't do it, me can't do it, me can't do it. But I never had that, like I said, she was more like a sister or a friend. She never came off,
Right.
and she never forced me to say, call me mommy. It just never fit. It couldn't come out my mouth. My grandmother was
All
mum,
right.
short for mummy, mum. My grandfather was
Yeah.
daddy. I had no qualms to say daddy. And that was my grandfather. Mama, my granny, mum, she never, and my mother was, she was good. She never came and said, well, you must call me so and force me into any subjection. But we had a really good relationship, really, really good,
Yeah.
in spite of the formative years and stuff. And I mean, she had to tell me, it's not the first time you seen me. I come to see you all the time. I bought you this, I bought you that. And I said, yeah, I mean, later on, by like 10, 8, 9, 10, I started saying, yeah, she buy me them something. Yes, that came from her. And then I started going to Kingston to spend time. But I think as children, our memory, you only hold but so much, because I cannot remember anything much before 4 and 5. It's like a blur. I don't remember nothing. You
Right.
know? Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. So for me, um, my parents, their marriage crumbled pretty early. I would have been maybe like 4 or so. And my mother wasn't, well, let me put it this way. So, yes, she loved us. And during those early years, it was our family unit. I did not know my family in Clarendon at all. I didn't even know nothing about
Mm,
grandmother. I knew my mother's mother and her 2 brothers. And so that was all the people I knew. I lived born and raised in Kingston, and we would go over to Portland where my grandmother, my mother's mother, lived. And she was the housekeeper to Percy Jr., who was that rich man in Portland, who the hospital is now named after. So we used to go to that huge house on that property. And my grandmother had um, her own flat. So that's the life I knew. And then when the marriage failed, my mother wasn't managing. And so after lot of stuff, we were sent to penance. I tell everybody every day, I am so thankful I went to penance Clarendon, because I don't know what my sister and my life would have been like today, because my mother couldn't manage on her own.
Mhm. Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it is that when we went there, um, she would visit us, especially on a Sunday. She would come down and so on. But there was, but when you move into a new family and they embrace you and all of that. I am calling my father's mother now, like everybody, her children does, mama, and my grandfather I'm calling daddy. So that's the mama and daddy that I knew. And then my aunties and uncles just embraced us and raising us and loving us. So when my mother would maybe have lapse moments when we don't see her, eventually for me, as the older one, because I'm 3 years older than my sister, is like she just a lady visiting, because
Mm.
Okay.
those early years now, I'm getting older and those memories are fading.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mhm.
not like she was coming every week.
Yeah, and you're making new memories too. That's the thing.
I have new
The new
memories are
memories are
created,
replacing the old memories. Yeah.
new
You
memories.
needed a refresher.
Uh-huh. So
Right.
she would come, she would carry, she would come, she would carry things for us and all of that. And I remember when I was gonna start high school, she gave me my uniform, but beautiful black girl, my mother, pretty black girl. And she would carry stuff for us and thing. And I remember one Sunday she came and my sister and I were walking with her back to down a crossroad. And
Mhm. Go
let me tell
bus
you,
stop.
for everything I run. I used to run for shop, run go at church. Me just love run. And as most of you know by now, I was an athlete. I became an athlete years later. So one evening, she came and we walking back with her to Crossroad. Of course, a gentleman who was the manager CEO of Carreras Group in Clarendon in that area. He had a dog named Skippy, pretty dog, but in bad. And Skippy, unknowingly to them, he had come home, opened the gate, and didn't realize that Skippy had just gone and huddled underneath his VW van.
Mm.
So me and my sister are both now. Pick me, you walk with your mother, but you love run. And we are run.
Mhm.
And then we just see Skippy appear from nowhere from under the van. Throw
Mm.
down my sister. Throw her down and bite out a piece of her inner thigh.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Mm.
bite it off. But my mother was frantic and hospital, but she have to go back at town because a certain bus maybe I got left and she can't get back
Right.
and whatnot. And so, she was very instrumental in that, though, ensure that, Soph got doctor and thing. And as the years progressed, it was just that. I didn't have that connection with her, but I was respectful. At one point, we worked nearby each other, and she would come over to my job. And sometimes I used to say, "Mom, just call me, say you come, no, just show up by people then work." Them used to say, them used to say, "Then is your mother come," you know. but but she still wanted to just know that she's there.
Why?
And
Right.
Was she
Right.
revered or
And I was always respectful to her. I would go out, talk with her for moments at a time and stuff. But we never, and she died young. She died in her early 40s.
Oh, that's
oh
young.
my.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know
died in
that.
her early 40s. So my
She
father
said it
is still,
before.
yeah, man, I've spoken,
You said it
but she,
before, yeah.
and
Yes,
I
I
didn't know it was
you
so
just
young.
told before.
That's why I'm saying I'm glad. And certain things I'm not afraid to share. There are some things we all don't share because it's a need to know basis. But
Right.
when I talk about children who may have been placed in group homes and so on. Because when my mom couldn't, I'm like 4. And my sister, she not managing. And I remember she took us to this house, a big house with a whole lot of other children. And we ended up in that space. It was like a group home, but me telling you that the people, the woman who had 2 daughters, and
That I remember.
they treated us all as children also well. We were homeschooled and we were doing well. The woman was a teacher and had retired, Miss Brody, and she was just amazing with all of us. We learned, so my experience going to penance thereafter, me already know how to use knife and fork. Me know about table setting. They taught us so many early things. I remember huddling before, TV with the other children, watching Ring Ding and just enjoying life. But I
Mhm.
understand
Right.
not being in the ideal family setting,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
still I can't say we were treated badly. They
Right.
love us.
Right.
Right.
So when people see some of us today, you really don't know our experiences. But
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
say to women who stick it out with their children,
Mm-hmm.
you have to say, God bless you. Because some can just
Yeah. Yeah.
lose
Yeah.
and don't manage.
Yeah, you know what too? We have to, because this is personal for me as well, because we have to. Yeah, I remember when it was time to do common entrance exams, and because my mother over the years, unbeknownst to me, she kept trying to take me back, and my grandmother wouldn't give me up. And I remember when I reached the age now, and she figured, I could be an ally. She said, pick for Kingston School, not pick for no Mobile School. So when you pass, you get to come a Immaculate or
Yeah.
Woolmers or one of them. But then by them tell me my granny tight, me now go to Kingston School. So me
Right.
I tell my mother, no, I will stay at Mobile. I will stay at Mobile.
Yes.
I didn't, yeah, because that was, and she told me that was her last ditch effort,
Mm,
her
Yes.
last ditch effort to get me back. And by then, many years had gone by. So mothers who had to quote unquote give their child to the grandparent or to an aunt or whatever to raise on account of the fact that they couldn't manage for whatever reason. Let
Yes.
us just leave it at couldn't manage.
hmm
They couldn't
Right.
manage at the time.
Yeah.
We
It's
have
sad.
to give them, yeah, because I had to reassure my mother, even in recent years, I had to reassure her that all is well and all was well.
Yes.
Because when I saw, all right, my daughter, when I came here with my daughter, and see, the last ditch effort for my mother was to take me here, and by then I was a wife and mother. But
hmm
she still insists, and I said to myself, you know what? She's been trying so long. Let me just give in at
hmm
this
Right.
point. You know what I mean? So I said, fine, take me. Here I am. Take me. By then, me I come one, me had a plus one. But she was only too happy with the plus one. So when I look at the fact that my daughter, when she was born, I was being filed for, and I didn't have any children at the time. And my mother was saying, okay, when I ended up pregnant, because I was still living my life, making my plans. She said, well, what are you gonna do? And one of my sister-in-law was also pregnant. She says, leave the baby with me. Let her, I didn't know if a girl or a boy, but let the baby go up with my baby. And I got a flashback, and I said, no. I said, thank you, but no, because I was just looking at history about to repeat itself with me now migrating or about to migrate, and then because I'm leaving, then invariably I'm going to leave my child then to grow up. And I
Yeah.
told my daughter this story, and I said, I did not want to leave you. I would not leave you. If I couldn't take you, I wasn't going to go, because I didn't want you growing up and calling me auntie.
hmm
Mhm.
So sometimes
Yeah.
Mhm.
when the mothers give up the children because they can't manage, we have to reassure them, and we have to empathize with them for taking the high road. for doing some amount of self-denial in order to promote the best outcome for our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it could be that they would stick to their
Yeah.
guns and say, let me sit in the gutter with the child. And you know, it wouldn't turn out for the best. So we have to
Yeah.
if anybody else is listening and is in the same position, don't. And I've seen the other spectrum where you have somebody who had some amount of resentment for their mother because their mother had to give them for a period of time
Yes.
to a relative,
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
never let
Yes.
them live it down.
Yes.
You know, so we have to.
Listen.
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Yeah.
it's so ironic that you should touch a topic like that, because I do know of a situation like that. The mother was going off to teachers college, and she left her firstborn with her sister. And by the time she came back and was ready to get her child, the sister refused to give her up. So when I met that,
Sad.
I knew one of her sisters. I'm not gonna, I'll just put it this way. I knew one of
Yeah.
her sisters, and when she finally introduced me to that firstborn sister, that sister was talking about her brother that lives in another state and her nieces and nephews, and I'm saying, so it's sort of sounds too right to me. So, when I confronted her, I said, I don't understand. So I never heard you talk about this brother and so on. And she said, that's when she told me, all right, let me tell you the story. So she ended up calling her cousins, her brother, and the cousins' children, she called her nieces and nephews. And that
Wow.
woman who grew her aunt, was very close to her. She was very close to that lady. But in another part of it too is you have to also be careful of where you're putting your children, or who is going to be taking care of your children, because within some of that situation there was sexual abuse that happened to her.
That's a whole nother situation,
So
and that's a
that's
whole nother possibility.
yeah. And that brought about some big resentment. And to this day,
Yes.
that
And
lady is not
bitterness.
close to her biological mother. So I didn't want that, because when I was leaving Jamaica, my son was born here, but I went back to Jamaica. When I decided to come back here, my eldest brother, insisted that I left the baby. He said, "Leffy, baby, leave the baby with me. I'm going to make your life. I will take care of the child. I will raise the child." I had no doubt that he would raise a child in the way that he should go, because he's good with his own children. But me as a mother, I never saw my mother left any of us, only to send us to grandma. That's it. But and because of that, I just couldn't leave Christoph. I couldn't leave him with anybody, even though it was family. So I said, if I'm going to go to America, if I'm going to stay in America and sleep underneath a bridge, it's going to be you and me. So it's you and me for life. In a little part of me regretted not leaving him for a while so my brother could raise him, because my brother, I think my brother has certain things that he instilled in his children that he could have instilled in Christoph. But Christoph didn't have a father figure per se to help him. And to this day, he tells me that that was the only thing that he wanted.
Wow.
So that was one thing that I took from my mother. My mother always said, "I never gave up any of you. I never left you." So I couldn't leave him.
Motherhood is
There's one thing I've
sacrifice.
observed, though, lady.
And she has 10 of us plus 3 that she raised. One of the time I started seeing picnic in the house when we cooking, and I had to learn fast because I'm the first girl, eldest, third child, eldest girl. When we cooking, it's 4 pounds of rice. I can remember 4 pounds of rice every time we're cooking.
You know,
I had to learn.
You learn bulk cooking early.
Yes, listen, I had to learn fast how to cook.
So,
I became the mother. I became the second mother. These children can tell you. Asha and Natty, they're the last ones, and they can tell you I was like the mother in the house. My mother left and came to America just before I left high school, and the lady that she left in the house to do the cleaning up and so on, the helper, I sent her away. I said, "Miss, by the time she comes to work, I was done with everything." I said, "The only thing I need you to come here for is to help me to do the laundry. You come and do the laundry." So it's like I was running the house. So
Around thing.
Responsibility early, Jackie.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up at 11:30 because I have a whole lot doing afterwards.
Yes, me too. I have
But
to,
I'm
Me
so
go
glad
too.
we
do some
shared.
stuff.
I'm so glad we
Same here.
shared bits of our
Oh
experiences.
yes.
You know,
Right.
that's beautiful. Max, you have one more time.
Yes, I can do another poem.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
And this one that I want to do. Give me 1 second. I
Okay.
done the page. I know I mess it up. Give me 1 second.
Mm-mm. Yeah, Max, you don't know if if it fall book leaf.
No, no, I had it. I had it. I had it. I have it here. This is I have it here. I have it here. I did mark, but the paper fell out. All right. So
Okay.
this one I wrote. Well, everybody knows my grandmother grew me up, and of course, when she passed, I wrote this piece for her. It's called "Remembering a Mother, Grandmother, and More." You grew me from a little girl. Your entire life surrounding my world. You gave me a lot from the little you had. How can all that be forgotten? You gave love in abundance, measureless and priceless, though it was your most precious assets. You toiled hard and long, even when you were not so strong. You are the grandmother of our lifetime. You are the grandmother for all times. You are no longer with us, but you will not be forgotten. You provided an education with a difference, not only my college degree, but the basic common know how of daily life. So I was able to strive and still striving today. You knew only happiness. You made no one sad. You provided laughter. You made everyone glad. You lived a long, loving, and worthwhile life. You did your fair share. Now, with tears in my eyes, I write these words. Hope to meet you again someday in the earth made new. Rest in love, rest in peace, because you are sweet. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Wow.
Max.
Why
Thank you.
things about mothers have to be tear jerkers, huh?
Uh-huh.
It
Yes.
always just gets you. You know,
Always.
really want where you feel
Mhm.
to come from the corner.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes,
tears are fall
yes,
for mothers. The moment you pop out of that womb,
Yeah,
tears
yeah,
come. You know,
Yes.
yeah.
either from the person who is fainting or the person.
So voluntary
the
or
person that you're
involuntary
saying.
tears are coming. Yeah, but you know what? God has so made us womankind special. He
Mhm.
has given
Mm-hmm.
us the right amount of softness. We can be hard as quote unquote hard if we need to.
Yeah.
We are made of sterner stuff. We can get up
Yes.
and go when the going gets tough and rough. We climb the
Mm-hmm.
hills with the baby on your back if need be. We put ourselves last in order to facilitate the well-being and outcome of any situation, children and so on.
Mhm.
And as we're often left alone. Some of us thank God for the men in our lives, who some of us are blessed to have the men who will put the foot in the pan and wash it and oil you down and grease you down, and now when them now feel the pain, them mourn with you. My husband had cravings in my stead. Me never really crave. He was craving stuff in the two pregnancies. But thank God for those men. But
Yes.
women are made of, like I said, sterner stuff,
Stuff.
because we
Turner
have
stuff.
to,
Yes.
yeah, man, we have to turn on a dime depending on what is needed. And there is
Mhm.
a quote that says a mother is only as happy as her unhappiest child.
Hmm.
So no matter how many children you have, and if they're all excelling and one is not excelling, or
Yes.
one is having an issue, you can't fully be 100% invested in the
Unless.
ones who are soaring. You're still down there with that fledgling,
Mhm.
trying to bring
Yes.
that one up to snuff. So
Mhm.
kudos to mothers, shout out to mothers,
Yes.
keep doing what you're doing. If you have to leave the baby over there, so with such and such, make sure the person good and kosher. Yes, Jackie, but do the best you can to pull yourself up by your bootstrings, and the Lord will take care of the rest. You hear?
Rest of
Well,
it. Yes,
thank you,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man.
Sharon. Thank you, ladies, for sharing.
Yes.
Thank you to our audience for being a part of the show this morning. And don't forget, share with somebody. Say, hey, there's a program on a Saturday morning called Saturday Morning Runnings. That's all. Like,
SMR.
share, subscribe, SMR. Thank you.
SMR. I
Immensely.
love saying that.
You know, I
SMR.
say it all the time to
SMR.
SMR. I
Yes.
say it
SMR.
all the time.
So we want to say, we are go on up now. We are galang up. We are go
Yes.
up. We are go
Now go
round. We
down.
are go down. So
Now
Me
go
I go
We are
wrong.
gonna
in.
we are
eat.
go up.
We are gonna eat with tea.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, ladies. Love you know, and blessings,
Mwah.
blessings. Enjoy the rest of the day. Happy
Happy
Mother's
Mother's
Day when
Day
it
to all the
comes.
mothers who joined
Happy
us and
Yes.
all
Mother's
the
Day
mothers
to
out there.
everyone.
Love and blessings to my own mother. Love you dearly, Ma. Mwah.
Blessings,
Yeah.
everybody. We're
Take
out.
care.
Blessings. Out.
Celebrate Mother's Day in the heartwarming embrace of Jamaican and Caribbean traditions, where women are revered for their strength, wisdom, and love. In these vibrant cultures, children hold their parents in high esteem, recognizing the sacrifices and strict upbringing that shaped their lives. Mother's Day isn't just a day of celebration, but also a time for reflection and empathy. It's a day when the community comes together to support those who have lost children, embracing them with love and shared experiences. Join the Saturday Morning Runnings crew as we honor mothers and their remarkable journeys through the years. From the joyful moments to the challenges they overcome, every mother's story is cherished and celebrated. To all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Your love knows no bounds. And today, we celebrate you. A Saturday Morning Runnings. Come, make we talk.
Hi, I'm Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing. Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezone@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.